Let's take it up like a master class. जिसको कुछ भी नहीं मालूम है, जिनको सिर्फ इतना मालूम है कि आप मंदिर जाते हैं और ऐसे आप दिया घुमा देते हैं एंड योर ड्यूटी इज डन, वर्सेस व्हाट इज डेप्थ ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिटी, व्हाई वी एग्जिस्ट. व्हाई डोंट यू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग कि अगर किसी को आज आपका ये पॉडकास्ट देखने के बाद स्पिरिचुअलिटी के एलकेजी में एडमिशन लेना है तो उसको व्हाट शुड बी द माइंडसेट, उसको क्या सोचना है?
So are you looking at spirituality as a solution to your life's problems, or are you looking to spirituality as a path to take your life towards its own source? और एक spiritual journey होती है हम सबकी, you know from being a novice to being a active participant in it, to some of us become those nodes who then distribute that knowledge or become nodes in connecting people to their own spiritual selves. So आप क्या करना चाहते हैं ये आपके ऊपर. अगर आप सिर्फ सॉल्यूशन ढूंढ रहे हैं तो फिर आप यू कैन हैव अ स्पिरिचुअल गुरु हु कैन कीप गिविंग यू क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स और गाइडेंस. लेकिन अगर आप अपने स्पिरिचुअल पाथ पे चलना चाहते हैं तो मैं सिंपली बोलती हूँ आप ओरिजिनल स्क्रिप्चर्स पढ़ना शुरू कीजिए. तो माय फेवरेट उपनिषद इज तैत्रीय उपनिषद, in which it very clearly says that one of the things that every human being should do is swadhyay. It doesn't say read scriptures, but it says swadhyay, which is swa adhyay, which means self learning, which means you should invest some time of the day in learning. Now that learning could also be about the subject you are a subject matter of expert of. So let's say if you are an HR person, and you want to read what is happening in the HR world across the world, and how it evolved and how it should be, and you want to define a vision of how it should be in the future, then you should invest your time every day in learning something about the HR world. If you are a sports person, you should you should study, let's say, other players or competition or other games. So it can be that, it can be spiritual books, but you must invest some time in self study so that your knowledge at the end of the day is more than your knowledge at the beginning of the day.
Correct.
Right? So swadhyay, and second thing it says is pravachanam. Now pravachan, आजकल हम धार्मिक प्रवचन सोचते हैं, but pravachan is essentially sharing your knowledge, or discussing it with uh, people. So if you are, like, say, if you are in your 40s 50s, you have enough experience, you can share it with the younger generation. Today we have enough platform, you can share it on social media, you can share it on your YouTube channels, even Instagram reels for that matter. If you have people around you who listen to you, you can share it with them. But getting knowledge and sharing is something that you must do every day. And at some point in time, most of us would understand that the worldly subjects that we are studying are can serve a worldly purpose only. To serve a purpose which is beyond this world, we must go to the subjects which talk about the other worlds, which talk about the a longer time span. Right? So at some point in time, that shift will happen. Now I can only talk about Sanatan Dharma and people who belong to it or believe in it. For them, it's as easy as start by reading Ramayana. You can start by any granth. You can start with Bhagavad Gita. That is what most people end up talking about. But Bhagavad Gita, believe me, is not an easy text. It's a very very layered text. ये निचोड़ है हमारे सारे ग्रंथों का. तो उसमें ये भी कहीं एजम्पशन है कि आपको ग्रंथ पता है और हम आपको सब बता रहे हैं. तो फॉर अ बिगिनर जिसको कुछ भी नहीं पता है, उसके लिए मेरे हिसाब से भगवत गीता इज अ स्लाइटली डिफिकल्ट टेक्स्ट. उसको पढ़ने में आपको थोड़ी मदद चाहिए होगी. ऑल्दो इट इज ऑल्सो अ टेक्स्ट जिस पर सबसे ज्यादा कॉमेंट्रीज या टीकाएं लिखी गई हैं. सो और वो बहुत आसानी से मिलती हैं. देयर आर मेनी मेनी पीपल हु हैव गिवन lectures on Bhagavad Gita. So there's a lot of content and very good content available on Bhagavad Gita. But it still needs a bit of hand holding. आप सीधा रामायण से शुरू कीजिए, विच इज अ सिंपल लीनियर स्टोरी होल्डिंग लॉट ऑफ लेसन्स फॉर यू. रीड रामायण महाभारत, ये दो अगर आप पढ़ लेते हैं तो आपको सनातन धर्म का मोटा मोटा पूरा निचोड़ मिल जाता है इनमें. उसके बाद अगर आपकी इच्छा हो या आपकी जिज्ञासा हो, क्यूरोसिटी हो, then of course there's a whole library of subjects that you can read depending on who you like. So for example, I am studying a lot of Devi texts, so I end up reading lots of Devi texts, Devi Bhagavad Puran, Mahabhagavad Puran, Devi Mahatmya. So जिसकी जहाँ रुचि हो उसके हिसाब से आप you can take a detour and get into that section of the library of texts available, and there is no end to it. Few lifetimes would not be enough to read all that our ancestors have left us. So start anywhere, start in the worldly space wherever you want to excel. So one of my favorite Kabir dohas is कबीर मन निर्मल भया जैसे गंगा नीर पाछे पाछे हर फिरे कहत कबीर कबीर. So which talks about excellence. It says all you need to do is clean yourself and excel at whatever you do. And if you look at the biggest achievers in any field, and you'll see they are not really doing anything for the world, they are doing is improving their craft. They are investing every day in improving their craft, and that's how they reach the top. And once you reach the top, the world is after you. So the pursuit of excellence is something that comes from these two things, swadhyay and pravachan, which translated in today's world would mean investing in self learning, growing in your space, and also sharing it with others. If you keep growing and if you don't share it, then it's not worth it. If you just say
Correct.
I know everything but nobody knows that I know,
What's the
is not
point?
going to help. Right, what's the point? And also there's an opportunity for learning,
Yeah.
you know. So they say that the learning, about 25% of our learning happens in our schools, colleges, from our teachers, you know, from the formal education. 25% happens by conversations like this. 25% happens with time and age, and 25% happens with swadhyay and pravachana. So every day you must invest time in learning.